Not like I work that hard. I mean, I load trucks for a living, but I mean, it's junk. So it's loading trash on the back of on the back of a truck. So it's not like it's something that should make me tired. I'm just tired today. I did the Peloton. I rode. I didn't want to ride on the bike, but I did. Did a 20-minute ride. It was probably one of my worst rides that I've had in a long time. The other day, I had one of my best rides. I broke my personal best, and today I think I did my personal worst. I think I'm just beat. I mean, my moms are back. The two my lovely neighbors said they've been gone for a few days and they were camping. Of course I had some free eats tonight. They made me cheeseburgers, so I had 2 burgers over there, some mac and cheese. So I saved a little money on that. They also made me a drink. I had 1 alcoholic beverage. I know I said I wasn't going to drink during the week, but there's football tonight, and I said I'd be drinking on football nights. But in general, as Trump would say, there's no energy. I'm low energy. I'm ready to keel over and go. I think that's it. The podcast is over. It's 1 minute. 1 minute long show. Thank you for joining America's podcast. It's over. Now, seriously, thank you for joining Spazzing Out, America's podcast. It's your podcast, and I try to cover the things that I think are interesting to you, and I have some stuff to talk about tonight. But in general, I'm beat. I'm tired. I don't know what it is. I'd like to go to sleep. I'm not going to go to sleep. I'll stay up. I'll watch some football tonight. I'll binge watch something on Netflix. But in general, I'm like, I'm over it. I got to take the dogs for a walk. My daughter's here. I love my daughter, but she's got more energy than me. She's 5 years old, man. I'm just like, ugh. Anyways, we do the podcast 5 nights a week. So 5 nights a week, we're here. We're on Facebook Live. We're on Twitter. We're live on Twitter, and we're live on YouTube. If you're watching on one of these mediums, follow me. Go to my page and like it. If you're on Facebook, if you're on Twitter, follow me. And if you're on YouTube, subscribe to my channel. And then everybody share it. Share this. This is how the podcast grows with your help. Now, most of you actually listen to the podcast. Yes, 100% my neighbor Corey's got me dead balls. I am a pussy, major pussy. But I think we already knew that. I'd be the first one to run from a fight. Corey would be over there fighting, and Frank, his best friend, would be fighting. I'd be long gone in the house, hiding under my covers with my son, Nariam. But listen, subscribe to the podcast. Please do. Go to anthonypaziali.com or go to Apple Podcast, put in Spazzing Out, America's Podcast. That's I can't even spell. SPAZ 'N-O-U-T. Apple Podcast, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora. You can now ask Alexa. You can say, Alexa, play Spazzing Out, America's Podcast. If you just say play Spazzing Out, they play some chick that has a podcast that has spaz. It's like Spazzing something, whatever. They play her podcast because it's way more popular than mine. I listen to my podcast now while I'm in the shower, which is oddly weird, but whatever. Maybe it's because I stayed up late. I watched the Pats game last night. So maybe I'm just tired from watching the Pats. The Pats game was great. I wish we had won, but I don't really feel like talking football because when I talk football on this program, people tend to not care. Either it's because they don't like the NFL anymore or because I don't know sports. Like, if you want fucking sports, go watch ESPN. I guess I love sports and I can talk about football, and I'm happy that the Patriots look good and that Cam Newton looks like he's going to be a great quarterback for us. But in general, people don't want me to talk sports, so I won't talk sports. We'll keep this shit political as I usually do. I have a couple of things that I want to talk to you guys about tonight. We do have the new segment on this program, Remote Asses. What is Remote Asses? Instead of remote classes, it's Remote Asses because there are a bunch of asses on the other end of the screen at home. So we have remote classes, and the teachers are seeing all sorts of fucked up things inside of people's homes. So the topic or the segment is remote asses, and we have a remote ass in the news today. I will get to that. Meth mile is becoming a major problem. Methadone mile, right? It's in Boston, Massachusetts. It's over by Mass Ave and by the BMC. Many years ago, I did the meth marathon, where if you guys don't remember this, I don't even know if you can look it up because I got banned from a bunch of shit. So it was one of the Boston marathons, and I thought it would be funny to have a meth marathon, and I paid like 30 guys that were all banged up on methadone Or, well, they were probably fucked up on Spaz'n, but whatever. They're over on Meth Mile, and we blocked off Mass Ave, and they ran 2 blocks, and that was the Meth Mile. And the winner, I gave an extra $20. It was actually pretty funny seeing 30 meth guys run down the street with they were holding their signs. We'll have to do it again. I think we'll have to do it for the podcast. I think next year for the podcast, we'll bring back the Meth Mile. We'll shut down 2 blocks of Mass Ave. I'll pay a couple of homeless meth heads to run down the street. It was a phenomenal sight. I had the megaphone and everything. I did it many years ago when I used to work at WAAF. Meth Mile, and we had the Meth Marathon. But there's a problem on Meth Mile, and I want to talk about that. But I think we definitely need to bring back Meth Marathon and get a bunch of fucked up meth heads. Literally, you could give these dudes like $1 and they'll all run down the street, dude. It was absolutely fucking hilarious to see these guys. This one guy dusted everybody. He was all fired up, and I think I gave him a 20 for winning. But I mean, it was just it was hilarious, and I made them all run with their homeless signs. So if you didn't have your homeless sign at the end of the race, you didn't win or you didn't qualify, dude. It was pretty funny. So we got to talk about Meth Mile. Finally, we have a governor in the United States that has a ball sack. I'm moving to Florida. It's already happening, bro. I'm moving to Florida, just not yet. I'll tell you how I'm moving to Florida. Hopefully my father-in-law is not listening, but I'll tell you, yeah, fuck it. If he is listening, he knows it's true anyways. I'm moving to Florida eventually at some point in my life, and currently the governor in Florida I have a man crush on this guy. He has the biggest balls. It's about time we have a governor like this. I'm going to tell you what he did. Robert Kraft. The Patriots lost yesterday, but Robert Kraft won today, and so didn't 20 other guys. Robert Kraft helped 20 other dudes in their life out. We'll talk about that. And if we have time, depending on how much time we have left, I want to get into what President Trump said today about Ruth Bader Ginsburg. There is something going on that supposedly her dying words while she was on her deathbed, she squeaked out her dying wishes, which of course were as she's dying, she says, kind of like when fucking John Adams was dying, and he says Jefferson's name, or when Jefferson was dying, he said, and Adams lives. She says, my dying wish, seconds before she died. I mean, her last breath was this. My dying wish is that the next president picks my replacement, which we'll get into that because I think it's complete bullshit, and I agree with the president that it's garbage as well. Let's start off with remote asses. Let's do it. On this program, we don't have much. We don't have much production whatsoever. The only reason we have a backdrop is because a guy who listens to the show, Brad Sullivan, he fucking bought it because I can't afford to pay for it. Thank you, Brad. Brad actually had good news today. I'm not breaking the good news for Brad. When he comes back, he can tell you guys all about it, but it's fantastic news for him and for his family. He's been a long-time listener of the program. A fucking long-time listener. Program's been around for 6 months, bro. He's been with us since the beginning. And he bought this thing behind me. All right. Today's remote asses. What is remote asses? It is when someone is doing remote class and they are an ass. So today's remote ass, and this is a good one. I don't even know if I should call this person an ass. Honestly, I don't even think they're an ass. I feel like I should high five them, but it's something I think we would have come up with. I think us 40-year-olds, when we were in high school, if we had this technology, we would have came up with the same shit. There is a huge problem. So there is a video that's got 7 million views now and growing because it's getting passed around to all the students. So now I want you to imagine this. Let's just imagine this podcast or this live feed, because I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, and I'm on YouTube. Let's just imagine I'm the student, you guys are the teacher, and the teacher calls me up for an answer, and she says, "Hey, Mr. Pazziali, what's 2 + 2?" And I don't know the answer, right? I don't fucking the answer is 4, right? Sure. The kids at home, they have another device, and they're holding up the other device. And I know you can't see this on the podcast because you're listening, but those that are watching, they hold up the other device to the camera, and it starts glitching. And it sounds almost like the teacher from Charlie Brown go wah 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 wah, and the fucking teacher's an idiot because the teachers don't know technology. So the kids are teachers like Mr. Paziali. It's kind of like when your wife calls and you don't want to talk to her, or oh shit, I shouldn't say that. Kaylee will fucking kill me. It's when somebody else calls and you don't want to talk to them, and you're like, oh yeah, I can't. What? Bye. And then you hang up on them. Well, the kids are doing that at home. So I don't want to call it remote asses. These guys are great. Of course they're doing it. What did you fucking think what these kids were going to do? We do it in class. So now the teachers are calling you out at home. You're at home, and the teacher calls you out, and then the kid puts up the video, and it's going, shh. It's genius. Kids, if they can find a way to get out of anything, they'll get out of it. Now, I'm going to give these kids a little bit of advice. Get a little bit more creative. And if you don't want to pay attention in class, but you want to just know that, make it seem that you check in, create a video of yourself. Go create a video of yourself, put it on another tablet, and put that in front of the camera. Create a video that just is a loop. Take some time of a loop and just sitting there, nice and quiet. And then you take that and you put that in front of the camera, and then you're fucking good. You just sit there, you do whatever the hell you want to do. And as most teachers say, head down, shut up. There, that's remote asses. Nothing other crazy in the news where people are showing their penises, their asses, and parents getting all fucked up. But of course, we knew that was going to happen. Remote asses today is kids are outsmarting the teachers with technology. Teachers don't get the technology. That's it. They're old. They're like my if my dad was still alive, the guy wouldn't have a clue. And there are teachers that don't have a clue. I think it's great. All right, Robert Kraft. The Patriots lost, but Robert Kraft has won. Robert Kraft gets off again. He got off at the fucking Pala, at the in Juniper, at the Orchard Asian, whatever the place was called, and now he gets off in court again. A month ago, they threw out an appeals court, threw out evidence. They said that the videos that were taken of Robert Kraft they weren't done properly, right? It wasn't, there was no warrant, whatever. The videos are not admissible. Those go away today. The Florida district attorney and the Florida attorney general came out and said, we're not going to challenge this ruling. We don't feel the need to. The reason that they didn't is they came up with some BS reason. They said, we're not going to challenge it because if we lose, it'll set a precedent going forward with other more pressing cases. So they're not going to go after it, which means they're going to drop the case. So Robert Kraft will not get in trouble for getting a hand job. Robert Kraft will, but now hear me out. There are 20 other guys that were on the hook, and Robert Kraft saved all their asses. None of these guys had the money to fight this off. The billionaire has the loot. The billionaire had the lawyers. The billionaire spent all the money to make sure he didn't get in trouble so that he didn't get his ass kicked out of the NFL and make his son take over. So he saved 20 other dudes, and 20 other guys right now are all going to get off again thanks to Robert Kraft. You guys should all send this guy something, not that he needs it. Send him a thank you card, especially the guys that were everyday dudes. There were like 6 everyday dudes, meaning they're working class guys. The rest of the guys all had money, not Robert Kraft money, but they had loot. 6 of the guys were everyday guys that are now not going to get in trouble. Case is going to get dropped. They go scot-free, all because one of the guys that got busted was a billionaire. And if you have cash, you get off. I'll say this 100 times over. You can't save the fucking trees if you don't have money. If you don't have money, you're not saving the trees. If you don't have money, you're not getting off. If you got money, you can get jerked off. And if you get caught getting jerked off, you could say, that's not my dick. They're like, yeah, it is. It's a test of your body. No, it's not. I'm a billionaire. That's not my dick. Yeah, but we have it on video and the girl's giving you a hand job and it's you. No, it's not. I'm a billionaire. It ain't me. I got tons of loot. Money will buy you out of any fucking situation you want to get out of. How do you get money? You work your ass off. You want to get out of problems? You want to be a punk? You want to, listen, you want to be a dickhead and a punk? Be a billionaire. You want to fucking save the trees? Be a billionaire because you got the kind of money to do it. Now, I've said this every time we talk about Robert Kraft. I don't understand why Robert Kraft got a hand job at an Asian parlor. Doesn't make sense to me whatsoever. Because up here in New England, every woman, I've said it 1,000 times, anybody's, if you're a Patriots fan, you don't even have to be a Pats fan. Every damn chick in New England would give this dude a hand job. Your wife would do it in a heartbeat, bro. She'd be like, dude, it's Robert Kraft. And then I've always said it that there are guys that would do it just to say that they touched Robert Kraft's dick. Dude, Robert Kraft could come out of Gillette Stadium and there'd be people tailgating and he'd be like, who wants to give me a hand job? There would be a line a mile long and there would be dudes that would do it. And after they got done doing it, they'd be looking at the hand like smelling it like, bro, my hand, bro, you never believe what I do. Bro, Robert Kraft fucking shot a load on me. Oh, there'd be dudes and they'd love it. And they'd wheel up, they'd be like, yeah! And these would be the straightest of all dudes. So Robert Kraft didn't need to get a hand job at an Asian parlor, but he did. And he got away with it because he's got money and he got 20 other dudes off because he had money. If Robert Kraft wasn't there, all these dudes were getting convicted. The tapes were going to be 100% the evidence was going to be admissible. They were going to fucking show that shit and these dudes were going to go away. And Robert Kraft was like, yeah, I'm a billionaire and I will spend every dime I have to make sure that those tapes don't come up in court. I will spend, listen, those tapes are going to be gone with the Zapruder film extra footage of Kennedy getting shot. So that's actually pretty good. Years down the road, we're going to see two people getting shot. We're going to see the real tape of Kennedy getting shot, and then we're going to see the real tape of a fucking Asian lady getting shot by Robert Kraft's nut. Getting a little wild. I better back off, kid. We're getting a little, I don't know if we can do that kind of stuff. Oh, wait, we can, because this is a fucking podcast, and this isn't radio. This is America's podcast, and on America's podcast, if we want to say nut, we'll say nut. If we want to say dick, we'll say dick. And if you don't like it, your parents raised a fucking pussy. So Kraft, thank you. Thank you, Robert Kraft. We really appreciate it. All right, Florida's governor. We should do this next. All right. Finally, we have a governor that has balls. I know, right? Corey just calls me gay, and then the next thing I say is we have a guy with balls. Finally, we have a governor that has balls and that has nuts. Florida's governor is putting forth legislation because he's a fucking man, because he cares about law enforcement, and because he realizes that when you're protesting, the second that you do something criminal, you become a criminal. So there is protesting where you go up there and you peacefully protest, like I did a few days ago or a few weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, I peacefully protest outside of Target. When the police officer showed up, I merely said, hey, I'm just protesting Target. I'm pissed off at something that happened. If you'd like me to leave, I'd leave. I'm not here to break windows. I'm not here to hurt people. I'm not here to attack you. I'm just an angry white man that's pissed off that Target fucked me. Simple. This governor realizes that when you are protesting and when you commit a crime, you're not a protester anymore. You're a criminal. You're a looter. You're a riot. Yeah, you're a riot. You're a rioter. You're a scumbag, and you should be prosecuted. Not only so, it's a two-part legislation. First part legislation is anybody in Florida that is if it passes, anybody in Florida that participates in a protest that breaks the law will be held up on felony level charges, not misdemeanors, not little slap on the wrist. They will be tried as a felon. If they damage property, if they injure or hurt somebody, if they destroy public property, they will be arrested on felony charges. He is not standing up. He's standing up to make sure there is no looting, there is no rioting, and that protesting is what it's supposed to be. Peaceful civil disobedience where people don't get hurt, where property doesn't get destroyed, and where police officers don't get fucked with. To take it further, he would make it mandatory jail time, mandatory if you are convicted for hitting a police officer. If you are a protester and then you decide that you don't want to be a protester anymore and you hit a cop, again, I want to make this clear. You cease to be a protester when you commit a crime. So if you are a protester and you hit a police officer and you get convicted, you do jail time. There is no slap on the wrist, home time, nope. It is mandatory jail time. It's phenomenal. It's great that we have a governor that has a ball sack that says, I support law enforcement, and I support private citizens and their businesses and their right to own a business without it getting smashed by some asshole people. Now, the only sad thing about it is not much looting and rioting going on in Florida, because everybody that lives down in Florida is like fucking 90 years old and they can't even get up anyways. So it sucks where it is. There are some hot spots, Jacksonville, at places like that, but it'd be a lot better if in Illinois, right? Is that where Chicago is? Illinois? Wherever the hell Chicago is, I'm going to say it's Illinois. If I'm fucking wrong, I'm wrong. That New York, if the New York governor would step up like this, Oregon's governor would step up, Washington's, the state governor would step up. If all the governors throughout the United States would step up with this type of legislation, all the fucking protests would be done, and the cities that are burning down where literally there's no protests when you break windows. It's not a protest anymore. Now you're a fucking rioting asshole. And in Florida, the governor is trying to pass a bill to say no looting, no rioting. You damage property, you injure people, you destroy public property, you will be convicted as a felon. If you hit a police officer, you will go to jail. Period. If you are convicted of hitting him, you're going, or her, you're going to jail. And then this is my favorite part. This is my favorite part. The number one thing that I love the absolute most about the Florida governor, what's it? I don't even know how to say his last name. DeSantis, whatever. I can't read, dude. Figure it out. Google it. This is my favorite part of it. I love it. If one of the cities or towns in Florida decides they're going to defund the police department, he is going to defund the city and not fund their programs anymore. So any money that comes from the state that would go to help the city out, he'll take it away from them. If you have a city in Florida or a town in Florida and you say, we're going to defund the police officers, the governor says, great, we're not giving you fucking money anymore. You get no more funds. See how quick the city says, oh shit, we'll give the police whatever they want. When you take their money away, it's a big fuck you. So big praise. And we should have had a man. This guy belongs in the fucking Man Hall of Fame. Man alert. Florida's governor is the only governor in the United States that has a nutsack and that is standing up for police officers, for law enforcement, and to ensure that that protests don't break out into a riot. He's making sure that there are no riots in Florida, and it's phenomenal. I love it. To recap it, he is putting a bill forward that would make it a felony during a riot for you to commit criminal acts like damaging property, injuring people, destroying public property. You would do mandatory jail time if you hit a police officer. And the best part of the whole fucking bill is if a city or a town decides that they're going to defund the police department, he will withhold funds from that city. He will not allow state funds to go to help that city out. Phenomenal. This guy deserves a big pat on the back. And when this dude runs for a higher office, or if he gets picked for something, or if maybe he decides he wants to be senator, I hope that the people in Florida remember that. And when he gets picked to do something for Trump or whatever other president, I hope we all remember that he backed the police officers and he backed private citizens. He backed the private citizens. He didn't sit back and say, it's all right if you break a couple of business windows. No, he didn't sit back and say, oh, burn some businesses down. It's cool. No, he didn't say, oh, you can hit police officers. No, he said you'll go to jail. Kudos to the governor of Florida. It's great. Meth Mile. Here's an example of where our governor, I'm from Massachusetts, here's an example where our governor needs to step up in the same fashion that the governor of Florida stepped up. Charlie Baker And I know Charlie could say this isn't his problem because it's Boston and it's Marty Walsh's problem, the mayor. But the two of these guys need to figure out this shit that's going on Meth Mile. Meth Mile or Methadone Mile, whatever you want to call it, is a stretch of street over by Mass Ave in Boston, over by the BMC, the Boston Medical Center. There is a meth clinic over there. This is where all the people who are fucked up on drugs go to get free drugs to get off of it. They're over there passing out Spaz'n to all these people, and typically there's like 20, 30 people there and that kind of hang out there. Listen, they're homeless. They live there. They try to get into the shelter. Maybe like 30, 40 people at most. Now there's like 300. Now there's like fucking 350 people living in this little tent city on Mass Ave. No one's doing anything about it. All the city councilors are saying is it's not our problem. It's not our fault, because what's happened is because of COVID, all these other centers, other cities have these centers where they hand out needles and they hand out free drugs to these people so that they have a place. The way they say it is, well, we just want to make sure they get clean drugs. We want to give them clean drugs so they're not getting it off the street and that they fucking OD. You know how I feel. Bye, Felicia. I hope you fucking OD. Good. You want to do drugs? I hope all 350 of them tomorrow morning are fucking dead on Mass Ave. I have no sympathy for these people. None whatsoever. But anyways, so people in Boston are pissed now. Now you have people that pay millions of dollars to live on Mass Ave. Millions. It costs, I mean, you have some people renting, but you actually have people that live there that own these $1 million buildings that are pissed. And here's what happens when people who have money get pissed. There is a group of people that are going to, this is great, they're having a property tax protest. They're going to get together, and this is what's even better, because they're not going to break shit, they're not going to smash it, they're not going to fuck with the meth heads. They're going to withhold funds from the city. They're going to put it into an escrow account, so they're still going to pay it, so that because they want to pay the taxes, they just want the city to feel the pain. They want to say, hey, you got 350 fucking people down here. You got to get them out of here. I can't. This one lady was talking about, she said she sees people taking a shit on the street. She didn't say it like that. She said defecating. She says on the reg, there are people defecating. I think it's funny, dude. There are people shitting on our front doorstep, or they're doing it on like the stoop because they got nowhere to go. Imagine this. Imagine you go outside. You got $1 million. It's kind of funny, actually. You got $1 million home. You go creeping out on a Mass Ave on one of those side streets. Maybe you're on Tremont. Maybe you're on Washington, whatever. You come out of your house, and there's 350 of them. So there's got to be like 20 of them down by your street. You go outside. There's a guy's whipped his hog out. He's peeing. There's a lady caught fucking squatting a spot. She's squatting. There's a guy who drops a big shit. Right? Forget about the dog. I can't, kid. I'm dying. Forget about the dog walkers picking up dog shit. You're gonna have to pass out doggy bags for the humans that live out there. You got 300 homeless people living. You got 300 homeless people living on Mass Ave, and the rich people are pissed because they're shitting on their doorsteps. Kid. I think it's crap. It's terrible, but I can't stop laughing about it because it's kind of funny, dude. I'd love to see the look on some rich stuck-up motherfucker's face when he goes outside and there's a dude who's all banged up on Spaz'n dropping a deuce on his front doorstep. I love it. Can you remember when we were kids? Does anybody else shit in a bag and set it on fire? I never forget. This lady goes to my house. She's like talking to my mom. She's like, your son shit on my doorstep. She goes, what? My mom's looking at the lady. What? What do you mean? She's like, what do you? And meanwhile, my mom's hammered, right? This is always drunk. She's like, what are you talking about? What do you mean my son shit? This is the greatest. You know why this story is so fucking good? She didn't even care. She was pissed that I did it wrong. She goes, what do you mean? She goes, yeah, he walked up on my doorstep and shit. She goes, what do you mean? He put shit in a bag and put it on, you stepped in it? She goes, no. He walked up and he bent over and he pooped on my stairs. I was like 13, kid. Like, you pooped on the stairs. My mom was like, why? She goes, you idiot. She called me an idiot. She goes, you idiot. You're supposed to shit in the bag in your house and then you put it on the lady's doorstep. You don't go walk over there and shit on it. And the lady was like, what? The lady was like, you're not. Kid, I can't. My mom wasn't even pissed. She didn't even care. She's like, what do you want me to? She says to the lady, what do you want me to do about it? Control your kids. They're animals. And she comes back in. I'll never forget it. My mom goes back in. She goes into the kitchen. She rips out the bottle. She used to drink the vodka straight. She fucking hits it. She's, Anthony, get in here. And I'm like, oh my God, Ma. What? She's like, if you're going to do something like that, shit in the bag in the house and then you put it on her doorstep. You don't just whip your ass out. I didn't even get in trouble. She didn't even get mad. She was just pissed that I did it wrong. She was like, the fuck? What are you thinking? What are you shitting on some lady's doorstep? Oh, man. That's how you know how fucked up people are. Dude, you just know people are screwed when your mom, I don't even know what we were talking about, kid. When your mom is like pissed, some lady comes to the house, she's pissed that you crapped on her doorstep, and your mom's not mad that you crapped on the doorstep. Your mom's mad that you did it wrong. She's like, you're an idiot. You're supposed to crap in the bag at your house, and then you put it on her doorstep, and then you knock on her door, and she fucking picks it up or steps on it. You don't just pull your pants down. Anyway, so how I got to that. This is the best. How I got to that was there's a problem on Meth Mile in Boston where there is 300 some people living out there. They're homeless people. They're addicted to drugs. They're over by the BMC because they hand out free drugs and they hand out needles. So people are pissed. The rich people are upset. Their people are doing drugs out in the open. They're sticking themselves. They're popping pills. I mean, it's the Walking Dead over there. If you've been there, dude, these people are zombies, and they got nowhere to go to the bathroom, so they're defecating in front of these rich people's homes and pissing in front of these rich people's homes, and they're all upset about it. So they're gonna do a property tax protest, and they're gonna withhold funds from the city. They're smart. I can't stop laughing about it. That's the best. She was the best. She's still alive. I talk about it like as if she's dead. This Paz was the best. She was the funnest drunk ever. So what this group of rich people are doing is they're gonna withhold property taxes from Boston, and they're gonna put it in an escrow account to make Boston hurt. And they're calling Marty Walsh out, and they're calling out Governor Baker. They want them to do something. They're pushing back and saying, hey, the only way for us to handle this is for other towns and communities to open up their free drug spots again so that these people will leave and go get their free drugs somewhere else instead of being in Boston. Because Boston and Springfield, I guess, might be one of the only places that are giving out the free drugs during COVID. Free drugs and dropping shits in front of rich people's lawns. Oh, man. I can't. I said, you know what, to go on a side thing, because we're talking about my mom. I said the other day to Kaylee, because it sucks that we don't have yo, what's up, Brad? You just missed a good one. You just tuned in, kid. You just missed a good one. You're gonna have to go back and listen. You're gonna have to go back and listen to what we just talked about, kid. I was dying laughing. So since we got on hey, great news about your father. I didn't mention what exactly happened on the program, but anyways. So because we were talking about people defecating on other people's doorsteps and down at Meth Mile, we got to talking about my mom. And I was gonna have I can't stop laughing about it, kid. I can't. All right, I'm gonna pull myself together. I have to focus. It was a good one, but I gotta focus. So, anyways, my mom we don't have anybody to help with the kid, right? So it's me and Kaylee, and I have 2 kids, and Nariam's mom is handling Nariam, which is great. So we appreciate that. And me and Kaylee have press, but I have to work, and Kaylee has to work, and Kaylee's mom is out in Arizona. Kaylee's dad lives down in Florida, and my father's dead, so he can't help. But my mom's still around, but my mom's a squid, dude. She can't, like, she's got MS, and she's got liver failure. I mean, she's all fucked up from all the drugs she did. And I was like, so what? I was like, why don't we just have Liz come here? We'll just have her sit there. I'm like, she's going to be better off than the people that are actually drinking behind their kids and smoking blunts behind their kids. She can just sit there and be a squid. Not like she can drink, and she's all banged up on the drugs they're giving her anyways. But anyways, let's get off of that. All right, is that the last top? All right, one more thing, and then we'll be out. Short one tonight, kid. I don't know if I can gain focus back from that Liz story. That you got to watch the replay on it, guys. All right. Last thing, President Trump story in the news, and I thought that I had to talk about it because I have to call out the Democrats on this garbage. So we all know that Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed away. I broke down the Supreme Court yesterday. If you want to know how the Supreme Court nomination works, listen to fucking yesterday's podcast. I'm not going to do it again. And it's a damn good breakdown. So if you want to get your ass educated, listen to yesterday's podcast. You'd love it. So today, Trump is on Fox and Friends, and he comes out and I should say first, a report comes out of the Ruth Bader Ginsburg camp that her dying words, as she's on her deathbed, she's about to die. I want you guys to imagine the scene. She's in her bed, and everybody's all around her, and tears are flowing, and they're all upset. And the last thing that she could think of, her last words, her last will, her last wish before she dies. She doesn't say, look at, to someone and say, I love you. She doesn't go over and say, oh, I'm going to miss you. Or who knows what fucking people say before they die, right? I don't know. My grandfather was on his deathbed. My father called me, was like, Aunt, you got to come say goodbye to your grandfather. I was like, yeah, guy, I got to fucking work. So I went to work, and then I came back, and my grandfather was dead, so I never got to say goodbye. So I don't know what the hell dead people say before they die. So anyways, she's about to die, and apparently what she says before she dies is this. She says, my last will, my last dying wish is that the next president picks my replacement. These are her last words. This lady's about to fucking die. She's got one breath left, and she could say anything. She could say anything. She could fucking be like, look at somebody. She could be like, oh, I fucking love sucking dick. She could say whatever, but what she says is, before I go, my last dying wish is that the next president picks my replacement. That's such bullshit. So Trump is on Fox and Friends, and they ask him, they say, will you respect Ruth Bader Ginsburg, fucking Ruth bang her Ginsburg. I can't even talk because the story about my mom is going to be fucked up. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Justice fucking forget it. Whatever her name is. They ask him if they would, if how he feels about her dying wishes. And Trump is like, what? I'm paraphrasing. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, that's bullshit. She didn't say that. That's what Democrats like. That's garbage. That's some Democratic thing that Nancy Pelosi, and he says it, Nancy Pelosi and her cronies put together so that the American people would think that was her dying wish. Dude, I absolutely love that he said that. And people are pissed. People are all upset. Oh, President Trump is shitting all over. People, Democrats, Americans, please, for the love of God, take it from me, from a man who was 13 years old, that shit on someone else's doorstep without doing it the proper way, and then got lit up by his mom for not doing it the right way while she was drunk. Take it from me, from the most American of Americans. Don't be an idiot. Her last words were not, I want the next president to pick me, to nominate my fucking replacement. Those were not her last words. If you think they were, you're an asshole. You're an idiot. You're a moron. Your right to vote should be fucking taken away. Idiots that believe this kind of crap. You're just as dumb as the donkey boxer or the fucking horse boxer from the animal farm who thought, and all the animals that thought that they were taking them to the hospital, but they were really taking them to the glue factory. You're a sheep. You're an idiot. My daughter's coming down, so I got to watch the language. You're a moron. 100%. Those weren't her last words. They were not her last words. I would like to think that right before somebody dies, they're going to say something compelling, or they're going to reveal a secret to something that they hadn't said to anybody. You know, like, hi, honey, would you like to say hi to everybody? Mm-hmm. All right. Daddy's doing his podcast. I would like to think that, like, when you die, like, for example, like I'm dying and I'm on my deathbed, I'd like to think that, I'd say something. I'd look at Kaylee, like, honey, I love you. Or I'd like to look at my son, be like, oh, buddy, daddy's going to fucking miss you. I look at my daughter, Presley, hi, babe, sweetie, you mean everything to me, right? You something like that. Or if you're like a fucked up dude and you say something fucked up, you're about to die and you tell everybody in the room, or like, let's say you adopted a kid, but he never knew that you weren't his dad, and you're about to die, and you just look at the kid and you fucking tell him the truth. You're about to die, you're like, I'm not your real dad, and then you die. That's what I expect. I don't expect you like, I want the next president to pick my replacement. No, people don't do that shit. They don't do it. She would have said it before she died. She would have said it before she died. She would have been like, shit, I'm old as fuck. I'm going to die soon. She would have came out in public and she would have said, if I die, which I'm probably going to, I want the next president to pick. But in fact, in 2016, when the same thing was happening, when there was a vacant seat and it was an election year, Ruth Ginsburg said this. She said it is because the Supreme Court's job, their number one job is to uphold the Constitution. She said it is the president's constitutional obligation to put forth a nominee quickly. And then it is the Senate's job and obligation per the Constitution of the United States of America for them to hear and either advise to accept the nomination, or to decline the nomination. And if it is a decline, it is the president's job to put forth another nominee quickly, not to wait. It were her wishes as a justice of the fucking Supreme Court. Her wishes were to uphold the Constitution, and the Constitution says president nominates, Senate confirms or denies. Her last dying wishes would not be to violate the sanctity of the Constitution, you fucking morons. It drives me nuts. This lady spent 30 years of her life on the bench on the highest court, which their job is to defend the Constitution. I don't think her last words would be fuck off Constitution. I don't think she said, no, fuck the last 30 years, all I did, fuck the Constitution right before I die. No, I don't think so. I bet you there'd be a better chance that she had said something like, it was an honor and a pleasure to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America, and I know I'm about to die, and I think the president should do his job, just like I said back in 2016, the president should do his job, and the Senate should do their job. You guys are morons. I can't stand this crap. I hate stupid, fucking, blind-ass people that, like, I don't hate blind people that are fucking really blind. I hate idiots that can see and they can think for themselves, and they're like, oh, yeah, that's what she said. That's what she said. Those are dying words. Use your fucking head. These people fight. They vote. They don't vote. They make decisions not based on Republican, not based on Democrat, not based on independent. No parties with these people. Sure, they lean left. Sure, they lean right. But they make decisions based on their interpretation of the United States Constitution. That's their job. That was what she did for 30 years. I don't think in her dying breath she would turn her back on the Constitution, because that's what you're saying. And if I were the president of the United States, that's what I would say. So President Trump, here's what you should say. You should say, America, do you really think that in her dying words, she would turn her back on the Constitution? Do you really think right before she died, her last words were "fuck USA." Her last words were "screw the fucking Bill of Rights and fuck the amendments and forget about the Constitution." No, she wouldn't. So unfortunately, I'm sorry. There was a better chance of her telling everybody that she fucking loves sucking dick than the fact that she was going to turn her back on the Constitution. Sorry, didn't happen. And President Trump is right by saying that it's bullshit, but he should have explained it better. Sometimes the president gets out there and he can't say what he means, and what he really means, what he really meant to say was, so let's pretend I'm the president, Mr. President. How do you feel about what Ruth Bader Ginsburg said, and her dying wish was that the next president gets to pick? And I would say, I feel like that's real contradiction, whatever the word is. I feel like that's against everything she believed in. I mean, for 30 years of her life, she sat on the highest court, and she was the Chief Justice, and their number one job is to uphold and protect the Constitution. And they make decisions based on how they interpret the Constitution. And back in 2016, she said that it was the president's job to put forth a nominee, and it was the Senate's job to nominate, because she believes in the Constitution, not because she believed that Barack Obama should make the choice, but she believed that the Constitution is the law of the land and says president puts forth a nominee, Senate, they confirm. You don't wait. There's no haste. It gets done immediately per the Constitution. So I can't believe that right before she would die, she would turn her back on that. I can't believe that you would say that she doesn't support the Constitution of the last 2 seconds in her life. My daughter's going to kill me. What, honey? Yeah, yes, do, please, for the love of God. My dying words. When I'm dying, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to be dying, and I'm not going to be able to die because my final words, I want them to be dramatic. My daughter's going to interrupt me. I'm going to be dying on my deathbed, and I'm dying. Kaylee, come here, honey. I just want to, and then my daughter's going to come in, and she's going to be, Dad, I need I'm fucking dying. I'm dying. Yeah, but Dad, before you die, can I get a toy? Can I have a toy? Can I have a, yes, have a fucking toy. And then I'm going to go back to dying. And then she's going to pump her fucking head back in. She'll be, oh, Dad. And what? And then I'll be dying. I'm going to have to walk the fucking dogs. Before I die, I'll have to walk the dog. I will literally be having a massive heart attack. Boom, boom. Boom, and then the dogs will come in, Scout will be like, fuck, man, I can't even fucking die. I can't even die. I'm dying. I'm giving you my last words, and my daughter's gonna interrupt me. I'm dying, and I gotta walk the fucking dogs. I'm dying. Jesus. Let a man die. Just let a man die. For the love of God. That will be how I die. I will literally, I'm trying to get my last words out, and my daughter's going to interrupt the last words that I'm going to say. Tell my wife I love her or something like that. Or fuck it, if I'm dying, my wife's going to be like, what are you doing? What do you mean you're dying? You can't die. You can't die. I have to go to work, or I got to fucking take a shit. Damn. Can't even die. All right. I think that fucked up the podcast. I just hit the fucking thing too hard. Hold on. Jesus. I gotta calm down. So, no. I do not believe that she said that. I would honestly, no bitching, no yelling, no screaming. I believe that the Democrats made that up, and I believe it dishonors her respect for the Constitution. The lady respected the Constitution. She supported the Constitution. She defended it many times over her 30 years as a justice. And for you guys to say that on her dying breath, she no longer supports the Constitution, you're doing her wrong. The president isn't doing her wrong. You're doing her wrong. 100% you're doing it. You're doing her wrong. All right, guys, that's it. We're done. If you missed the earlier part of the program where I almost choked on my own fucking spit, go back, check it out. Thank you so much for listening to Spazzing Out, America's podcast. It's great that you guys all Continue to join. The podcast continues to grow, somewhere between 500 and 600 downloads or streams a day, but we need more. We need to get to 2,500 a day to get this puppy monetized. And the only way I can do that is if you guys continue to share this and you guys continue to tell everybody about Spazzing Out, America's podcast. Please tell everybody about it. Some shows are good, some shows aren't, bro, but you get what you get. Thank you so much for listening to Spazzing Out, America's podcast.